Hello everybody, my name is Raj Wadhwani. I'm the president of ContactCenterWorld.com, and it gives me great pleasure today to share with you this 30-minute event, how to increase motivation. It's all about what drives your staff crazy at work. So here's what we're going to cover in the next 30 minutes. I'm going to share a very short video about Contact Center World in 60 seconds. In the other 29 minutes, we're going to talk about why increase motivation, what drives staff crazy at work, why they don't tell you, and how to deal with it, and have a great demo, and I'll finish with a couple of common questions and answers. So let's go on to the very quick about us in 60 seconds.
Welcome to Contact Center World in 60 seconds. My name is Raj Wadhwani. We are the global association for contact center and customer engagement best practices. Established back in 1999, we now have over 200,000 members worldwide. You can connect with these members, you can chat and email with them. Our website is updated daily with the latest news, articles, tips, jobs and much more. We also run the most prestigious and the biggest industry awards programs. We've been doing this for 15 years, and in that time over 75 nations have competed. We have amazing business tools like Top Place to Work for employee engagement, Rate Our Service for customer engagement, and What Drives You Crazy at Work. We also have benchmarking data from award-winning contact centers around the globe. We also run the highest rated industry events live and online. If you're already a member, thank you for your support. If you're not, join today for free.
Now, why is motivation of your staff so important? Well, let's look at the facts, okay? We all know this. Motivated staff work harder, they're more productive, they provide better service to internal and external customers, they stay with the company longer, they're better ambassadors for your brand, they make less mistakes, they care more, they get more done, and so on and so on. We all know this, but sometimes leaders forget the importance of motivation as we all get busy. And in times like we are right now, when there's so many external factors affecting our business, we can often lose sight of the importance of motivation. So what we really want to do is to focus on having those happy employees. Now I'm going to ask you this question. What drives them crazy at work? Why bother finding out all those little things that frustrate them? What makes them go crazy? And we've all seen this. We've all had employees in our businesses who, you know, they just want to scream out loud. They're frustrated. It happens in every single business. So even if you're sitting there thinking, no, it doesn't happen in my company, well, maybe you don't notice it. So I want to talk a little bit about crazy at work. As leaders, we always think about what we can do to motivate our teams, don't we? We always think about incentives, rewards, recognition, all those things that make our staff feel really good. But just as important, we should think about all the things that drive them crazy, all the little things that happen in their working day that frustrate them. Think about your life, for example. If you took a typical day and you could reduce all those little things that frustrate you, from the moment you get up in the morning to the time you fall asleep at night, you would be happier, right? You'd be more motivated. So, for leaders, it makes so much sense to look at all the things that frustrate staff at work and act on them. Now I want to tell you a little story. Many years ago, when I was a consultant, a dedicated consultant, and wasn't running Contact Center World, I used to train leaders. Leaders how to run their teams, their centers, and their business operations. I used to do this exercise with leaders, where I would actually ask them, what can you do to motivate your staff? And they would often come up with 3 or 4 things or 5 things that they thought, great, let's have some rewards and incentives, pay rises, let's do these sort of things with our staff, all common stuff. And then I'd go and sit down with their frontline agents, their representatives, listen to calls, talk to them, find out what motivates them. And they would come up with a similar list. Maybe it's like I could do with a pay rise. I could also do with a promotion, things like that. Then I took a different approach, and I actually went to both groups and said, look, what can you do? Or I went to leaders first, and I said, leaders, what can you do to really annoy your staff? If you had a chance to annoy your staff, so when they came in, they hated work so much, they came up with a list of 20, 30, 40, 50 things sometimes, all the little things that they could do. And then I turned it on its head, and I said, well, let's be really honest. How many of these things do we actually do day in, day out, or from time to time? And then they would start laughing and go down the list. Yeah, we do that. Yeah, we do this. Yeah, we do that. And soon they realise that it's often little things that they're doing that annoy staff. And you ask the staff the same question, what frustrates you? And they will often tell you things that frustrate them. It could be silly little things like, hey, there's no more toilet paper in the bathroom today. Again. Or there's no hand soap. Or I really hate it when people leave dirty cups in the sink. Or I come in and someone's sat on my chair and they've rearranged my desk. Or I went to get a new headset from the store cupboard, and it should have been clean and it was dirty, there was marks on it. Or I'm sat by a window and it's always really hot in summer. Or the chair I'm sitting on is so uncomfortable, I can sit in it for 30 minutes a day and that's about it. Then I have to stand up, and then I get moaned at by my boss because why am I standing up when I should be sitting down? There's so many little things that frustrate staff, and it sounds so crazy, but often we don't look at all the little things that frustrate them at work. And really, as leaders, we should be looking at trying to encourage people to tell us what drives them crazy at work. But why don't they tell us? Why don't they openly tell us what is driving them crazy each day? I put this slide up. Let's think about it for a moment. How many times have you worked in an organization when people have said, oh yeah, they're a troublemaker, that person over there is always complaining, they're a whiner, they want to complain all the time, oh it's so frustrating dealing with them. Yes, we have those people in every organization, but often they're not troublemakers. They're just trying to get across a point, they're trying to get across something that is frustrating them. But none of us want to be labelled troublemakers, so we often will just put our heads down, keep quiet, just do our job, go home and complain to our partners or our friends. Hey, you know what our company did today? Hey, you know this? They're terrible. They do this, they do that. We all do it. Because we don't want to be labelled as troublemakers at work. We don't want to be labelled as that person's always whining, because it's going to affect our morale, motivation, maybe our future career with them. So, how do we deal with it? I'm going to go into a demo in a moment. And before I do that, I just want to talk about some systems I've seen in some organisations. There's the usual town hall where people get together and say, hey, come on guys, tell us your grievances. Let's be honest, those are useful to a point, but many people don't want to sit there and openly discuss their comments or gripes or concerns with everybody, and everybody's going to think, oh, that person's a complainer, for the same reason I just mentioned earlier. Then there's also other systems I've seen which, when you go into organisations and you see a big board in the hallway, and it's a whiteboard, there's pens there, there's bits of paper where people can write down suggestions, like a suggestion board. But the problem with those is, we've all experienced it, you go up there, you start writing something down on a suggestion board, and your boss walks past. And what do? They don't say, hi Raj, and just carry on walking and ignore what you're doing. They say, hi Raj, how are you? Oh, I see you putting something on the board today. What's frustrating you today? What are you putting up there? It annoys people when you do that because they don't feel comfortable. Sometimes they want to put a complaint in or a gripe or comment that they don't want to be associated with. Now sometimes staff will come up openly to you and they say, hey, this really drives us crazy, how about we do this? And they want to be part of the solution. But more often than not, staff want an easy way to give feedback on what frustrates them at work without fear of anybody labeling them as a troublemaker, a whiner, or fear of retribution, that if I speak up, I'm not going to get that promotion, I'm not going to get that pay rise or that bonus. So I'm going to show you a demo of something we developed a few years ago. And it is absolutely brilliant, okay? I'm not just saying it, but it's free and it's brilliant, and it will help any organization find out what drives staff crazy at work and how to deal with it, which is really, really important, how you deal with those frustrations in a way that makes staff feel valued, feel safe, they can give you honest feedback. And you as a leader, you get real good data you can act on. So let's take a look at the demo. So now we understand some of the things that drive staff crazy at work, and we also understand why they don't tell you what drives them crazy. We're going to look at what you can do about it. And we have a fantastic tool that we've built at Contact Center World. Our inspiration was one of our award finalists a few years ago who showed us a similar tool that they developed for their own internal use. So when you're on Contact Center World, go to the Tools section and we're going to look for what drives you crazy. When you first get here, if you are not a registered user of this particular tool, you're going to see a register link here. So there's an about, register, employee feedback, and there's a logout. There's also a short video, and I'm just going to go to the bottom of the page and just show you there's some information there. There's also another register link down the bottom here. So let's go back up to register. Once you click on register, if you're already logged in, it's going to automatically include your company details. If you're not logged in, it's going to ask you to log in before you get to this stage. Then once you see your company name, you're going to click on industry sector and pick whatever industry sector is relevant for what you are doing. Click next, register company, and on the next page you're going to see some options which will allow you to customize this solution specifically for your needs. Now once you've submitted all your information, so I'm going to say we have 10 employees, I click submit, and what I'd like have the option of doing now is to departmentalize this particular location. If I say yes, I can split it into different departments. It could be sales, marketing, customer service, and then I can add multiple different departments. So if I'm getting feedback, I know which department the feedback relates to, and that could be very useful if you have a big operation and many people. So let's assume I don't need that now. Now I'm in my account. I can actually go and look at all the locations I've registered. So here, for example, I've got headquarters, I've got 2 departments, I've got 5 feedback out of 100 people. What I can do is if I want to request feedback again, I click on this link over here, and this gives me my unique code. There are several options. I can input email addresses, and Contact Center World, who administered What Drives You Crazy, will send out emails on my behalf. I can provide employees with a feedback ID and a URL, or I can provide them with an email with a URL already embedded. So if I click on that one as an example, what it does is it gives me a ready-made code. So we'll have a look at how that works in just a moment. The other things that we can do on this page on my account are the following. I can add additional locations. I can also give access settings to different people. Now we'll have a look at what happens with individuals when they're submitting feedback. So we have an individual, they've been given the URL, they're going to click on that URL and they get taken straight to this link. So on this page what they can do is they have some information, they have some instructions, and they can enter their feedback in this box. What actions they would like to take they can put in here, so if they have some suggestions, and they have options. This really drives me crazy every single day. Then I have the option I can leave my name or remain anonymous. If I leave my name, I can put my details in there so whoever's looking at this feedback can see who it is, or I can just remain anonymous, which means nobody will know who submitted that. And that's it. Very straightforward, very easy to use program, gives you feedback. And when you do get feedback, you also get an email. Let's have a look at what that looks like. Here's a copy of the email that you get. So whenever you get feedback, you get an email with a direct link to go straight into your account to view the feedback. When you click on it, it takes you straight into your account. I've already got some feedback here, so I want to have a look at the feedback. So I click on this view feedback link, and I can see all the feedback. I can see that I had an anonymous person. Their feedback is when people are late, especially for team meetings. Their solution. This is a nice thing about it. They can actually propose solutions. Motivate rather than reprimand. Place in the meetings everyone's calendar. Good idea. So I have an option here. I can add a status. Action required. And then I can add responsibility. Who's going to do it? So I'm going to take care of that. And when. I can select a date. If I move down the page, I can see some other feedback. And here's one from Shannon. Tasks not being completed in a good time frame. Give a realistic time frame and check in to remind the team how to left. Great. Okay. And she says here, crazy rating. Often but not every day drives them crazy. I can say action required. I can actually involve her in that as well. So I can actually include her. She's part of the event team. I can actually include her as an individual to take care of that. That's if she wants to get involved, or she might say, I don't really want to get involved, but I'd like to do something. I have the ability to add notes here, so I can add notes as to what we're going to do. So in this case, I'm going to talk to Shannon, see if she wants to help. Okay, save note. And I also see I have some anonymous feedback. I don't like the office chairs, they're uncomfortable. Get some new chairs, let us evaluate them. Okay, so with every single one of these I can put action required, no action required, or markers hidden. Markers hidden means I'm going to put it aside and come back to it at a later date. Now I'd like to finish with some common questions that we get asked. How long is the free version available? Well, it's an initial free version for 12 months. Now in 12 months you can get a lot of data. If you like it after 12 months, yeah, we hope you're going to subscribe to it, but 12 months of feedback from your staff is phenomenal. Can I use this across different sites? Absolutely. As you've seen in the demo, you can set up different departments on one location. But why not just encourage all your sites, all your locations, large or small, wherever they might be, to use what drives you crazy at work, and then you can get data, intelligence, feedback, ideas from every single part of your organization. The more feedback you get, the more you can act on, the more motivated staff you'll have. This next question, can I get some logos to add to my website for staff to click on? Absolutely. We can give you logos, or you can just use the direct links. Our recommendation is that you make it really easy for staff to give you feedback. Even the web address we have is contactcenterworld.com/crazy. But we can give you logos, you can put them on your website, and you can then make it nice and easy for your staff just to, with one click on that logo, get into the system, leave their comments, and then they're back at work, and you get that feedback. If a staff member posts anonymously, can you tell me who that person is? Absolutely not. The whole purpose and the whole value in this program is it is anonymous. So if an employee wants to put their name behind a bit of feedback, that is up to them. However, if they don't want to put their name by that feedback, if you come to us and say, hey, we had this comment, we'd like to know who it was, we cannot tell you. We won't tell you. Even if we could tell you, we wouldn't tell you. Okay? But the system is designed so anonymous feedback means just that. It's anonymous, and it's for the protection and also the encouragement to your staff that they can actually post comments and ideas and give you feedback, and they will have no fear of retribution or anything else happening to them. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation. We actually came in under 30 minutes. I'm going to stay online for a few minutes. If you have any questions for me, please use the link, which is message the event host, and I'll be happy to discuss anything with you. And I encourage you all to go to contactcenterworld.com, sign up for What Drives You Crazy at Work. Remember, it's 100% free, and we think you'll love the tool. We'd love your feedback. Thank you everybody for your time today. Have an amazing day, and I will stay online for any other questions.